Never invest purely for tax savings. I'm putting money in this because it's saving me on taxes. Usually this, whatever this is when you do that, if it's a pure tax deal, the item that you're investing in is stupid and a bad deal. And it's an economically bad deal, but the tax smart works. And they're trying to suck you in with some tax incentives into something you don't need to be into. Invest in good things, and we're going to teach you in the college and retirement planning lesson how to shelter it appropriately and safely, but don't go out there with your primary motivation being to save on taxes. Let your primary motivation when it comes to investing be make money. Then try to find a way to shelter that as a part of that. But if your primary motivation is taxes, you will always get your tail kicked. You'll get in some stupid deals. Never invest using borrowed money. Dave, I borrowed $62,000 on my home. It's a dumb idea. Never borrow money. Particularly never borrow money to invest. It increases the risk of the investment astronomically. And if you lose the money in the investment, now all you've got's a payment to remind you every month of your stupid decision to make that investment. I've made some bad investments, and if I lost the money, it's just gone. At least it's not gone, and then I get to pay payments. So no, never borrow into an investment. No investment is that sure. No investment thinks that's a great idea. Diversification. That's one of those wah, 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 wah words, isn't it? I have a well-diversified portfolio. What did he just say? Diversification is a real simple idea. It means to spread around. It means don't put all your money in one thing. You'll get your head taken off. Don't bet your family farm on one horse in one horse race. And you know, I got this sure thing. There are no sure things. Always spread your investing around. Never have it in one thing under any circumstances. Because when you spread it around, you have lowered risk.
You want to only invest in what you understand. Find an investment professional that is patient and willing to explain everything with the heart of a teacher. Good long-term investments don't go away overnight. Make sure you get an official investment statement every month and that it's with a reputable company with proven results. Also, don't fall for get-rich-quick schemes. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Anything that promises you a fast return for little or nothing is a get-rich-quick scheme. Also, avoid single stocks and day trading. These things are quite risky. Stick to diversified long-term investments. There are many scams out there, and good, honest people are being taken advantage of every day. Be aware and stay alert.
Diversify. Spread around. They told us in Investment Class 101, the very first finance class you take, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put, you ever heard that? Say yes. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. See, if you put all your eggs in one basket, the problem is something could happen to that basket. That's a bad idea. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Instead, spread your eggs around. Put a couple here, and let's buy a little bit of this kind of an investment here, and we're going to continue. You know, we don't want it all in one place. Something could happen to the one place, and we wouldn't want to have that happen. I mean, you know, there could be a disaster. There could be a hurricane, and if we have all of our eggs in one basket, oh, we could run into all kinds of problems. I mean, something could come along and cause problems. This is a regulation 16-pound shot put. Pretty serious. I mean, we could name this 911. We could name this Katrina. We could name it job layoff. We could name it, you invested all of your 401k in your company, and your company stock went to zero when your company went broke. So don't buy company stock in your 401k. It's putting all your eggs in one basket. And if you put all your eggs, oh, this is scaring me. Are you guys down there freaking out just a little bit? I mean, there may be a problem here. We may need to get like the plastic out. Are y'all ready? Because if you put all your eggs in one basket, I mean, you know, something could come along, couldn't it? Do we need to draw the suspense out more? I mean, it would be, you want to spread it out. See what diversification does? You see what diversification does? Diversification creates safety, and you're not going to have that happen. No! You got to be careful. You got to be careful. You can't bet the farm on one horse, can you? You want to spread it out. Because see, if I drop it on that one, or I drop it on that one, I got all the rest of these, and I'll be fine. Everything will be okay, won't it? Now, with virtually all investments, as the risk goes up, you should make a better return. So does the hopeful return. So if I'm going to take less risk, I'm usually going to make less on my money. Does that make sense? Yes. And so there's a spectrum of risk. As I take more risk, I'm going to make more money. I can put my money over here in a simple cookie jar. And I could do an investment in a cookie jar. Now, cookie jars have an interest rate of what? Zero. So I can put my money in here. I'm not going to make anything on it. But it'll pretty much be here. Unless the kids find it. But that's a zero risk, but a zero return. I could take a little bit more risk and put it in a savings account, and I'm going to make like, whoopee, 2% or something, right? But it's going to be there most of the time, as long as I can get the teller to figure out the account number, right? I mean, there's very little risk with FDIC insurance. I could take a little bit more risk and do a CD. I could take a little bit more risk and maybe do a mutual fund. I could maybe buy a single stock. That's even more risk, but I might make more return. I could go to Las Vegas. That'd be a little more risk. Or I could go completely off the risk spectrum, and I could be a day trader and lose my tail end. Now, I don't recommend day trading or Vegas as your investment plan, but I also don't recommend cookie jars. Because there's two kinds of risk you've got to consider when you're thinking about investing. Now keep in mind, saving is for 5 years or less. Investing is for 5 years or more. I'm going to leave this alone long term. Now here's the situation. If I lose my money because I put it in a bad investment, that's a risk. The risk of losing my money. And when I say risk, that's what you think of, right? Say yes. Yes. Now, there's another kind of risk, though. If you're not making at least 6% on your money when you're investing it 5 years or more, you've got another problem. Inflation and taxes. Because, see, inflation runs for the last 70 years, according to the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, that has averaged about 4.2%. And so this $100, if it doesn't earn 4.2%, if it earns 4.2%, it'll just be worth what it was worth last year. It'll only buy what it would buy last year because it's worth 4.2% less in terms of purchasing power. That's what inflation is. Does that make sense? Say yes. Yes. Okay. So I've got to make 4.2% to break even with inflation, and to net, after I pay taxes on my money, making money, to net 4.2%, I've got to make 6%. So 6%, I pay taxes, I break even. So you've got to make 6% on your money to break even with taxes and inflation. And so you've got to move along this risk spectrum enough that you get up in above 6% to be making any real money above taxes and inflation. Does that make sense? Say yes. Yes. So in other words, if I stay back here, I'm not going to probably lose my money, but I'll get tackled from behind by inflation and taxes catching up with me and giving me a shoestring tackle just as I get to the finish line. And all of a sudden, I've got a big pile of money, but because it's been over a huge number of years, it really won't buy anything, and I'm not ready to go. So you've got to take those two kinds of risks into consideration. Also with investing, when discussing investments, liquidity means availability. When you hear someone say, I have a liquid investment, that just means they can get their money. It doesn't mean they bought water. And so, again, if you take more risk, you make more money. But the other thing is, if you're willing to tie your money up and you can't get to it, it's not available, it's not liquid, then you can make more money as well. So in other words, it's very liquid in the cookie jar, isn't it? But a crummy investment as a long-term investment. I'm not making anything on it. It's safe and it's liquid, but that doesn't give me what I want for a 5-year or longer investment. Same thing with a stupid savings account or a CD, a certificate of depression. I'm not really making anything on my money after taxes and inflation. So I've got to take a little more risk, and I've got to be willing to tie my money up a little longer. And if I go all the way over here, there's an investment a lot of you have made that is an excellent, excellent investment that is very, very illiquid. It's very hard to get your money out of quick and easy, but it's a great investment, and a lot of you have one. What is it? A house, real estate. Real estate's a great investment, but it's very hard to get your money out of. Your money's not available. It's not liquid. And if you don't believe me, try to sell a house fast. We have a word in real estate for houses that sell fast: cheap. You have to discount the price really deep to get it to move. Proof it's not liquid. Same thing with mutual funds and other things like that. You do not want to be in those things if you have to jump in and out, jump in and out, jump in and out. You want to be able to park your money for a while, and you want to take a little bit of risk. Not too much over to day trading, but we want to take a little bit of risk and be able to leave it alone a little while in order to be able to make more than that 6% and do well. As there is more liquidity, there's typically less return. So as the money's more available, just like as there's less risk, you're not going to make much on your money. So if you want your money available and safe, you're not going to make any money on your money. As a matter of fact, you're probably going to lose money after taxes and inflation. So you got to take a little bit of risk. When you bought a house, you didn't get a guarantee, but it was a good buy, right? Right? Okay. The house is no guarantee, so you took some risk. But it was an educated risk because real estate has a good track record over many years as being a good investment. So you felt safe buying it. But you don't have a government guarantee against loss on your house, do you? Say no. No. So you took a risk, but it was a reasonable risk for a good investment, and you tied your money up.